everybody? Welcome to another episode of ATOWN Rundown. Crack those Miller Lights open. We're going to have a good time. Currently, as we are recording, it is St. Patrick's Day. So cheers to everybody who celebrates. And because it's St. Patrick's Day, there are two birthday shout outs I have to give. One of them being our very own producer, Tyler. Happy birthday, Tyler.
Happy birthday,
and the
Tyler.
other one, ironically, being my cousin Ian, who I do the other podcast, this, that, and the
Happy
other
birthday,
with.
Ian.
He's actually working a shift at Brainwave Pizza tonight, who I'm repping on my shirt. And also, if you haven't gone to Brainwave Pizza, you need to give it a chance. El Presidente, Dave Portnoy, stopped by Brainwave Pizza recently and gave them a pretty good rating. I think it was either a 7.3 or 7.8. Either way, he gives those ratings very sparingly, and he does not like to give anything above an 8 at all. So congrats to Brainwave Pizza. Happy birthday, Ian. Happy birthday, Tyler. But now that that's over, let's move on to our Atlanta Hawks, who are currently, as we speak, on a 10-game win streak. They capped it off on Magic City last night against the Orlando Magic. You got everybody out there's clicking. I feel like we're on the verge of what I've been saying I haven't seen happen very often. This could very potentially be a second-round playoff team because you see the way Jalen Johnson's performing. He is becoming our franchise player. CJ McCollum is fitting in perfectly. Dyson Daniels is great on fucking defense. And not just that, you're going to see us get into the playoffs. In the playoffs, I will tell you, is a time where you see certain pieces shine, you see certain teams shine, you see teams who you never thought would be there outperform other teams that should have been there, and teams that should have been there don't show up. The playoffs is where the NBA comes to life. And now I'm finally getting confidence this season in the Atlanta Hawks that we could actually be a pretty good playoff team if we keep playing the way we are. And I know that win streaks don't last forever, but like a 10-game win streak, that's nothing to fucking bat an eye on.
It's hard to do.
That's something to be very excited about. So I feel like as long as we stay healthy, and I know we got Kuminga, who's back and forth with injuries, and he's an X factor one day, the next day he's questionable. I personally love the addition to the team. I think he's been great for us. I think he's good for our morale. But moving forward, I'm just very excited to see what this Atlanta Hawks team has for the rest of the season. And I'm even to the point where you'll very rarely hear me say this as an Atlanta sports fan, but even if we don't make it that far into the playoffs, I'm still that proud of this team for what we started as. Losing Trae Young, even though it was a trade I think we all saw coming. I think it was too much too soon, and like it finally just happened. I don't think it caught anybody by surprise. It finally just happened. We've been talking about it for years. It finally just happened. So regrouping from that, immediately CJ came in, and we didn't think he was going to mesh. It didn't look great, and now he's performing very well on the team. So like above all else, I can't be anything more than proud of this team this season, and I'm very excited to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, man. 10 games in a row is very hard to do in the NBA. I know that like this is probably the easiest part of our schedule as far as like teams that are underperforming or teams that are dealing with injuries and stuff. But last night against the Magic, which is a team that has had a very good season so far, they're sitting in the 5th seed right now. Even though they're playing Miami right now. No, Miami's playing the Hornets right now, and they're losing. I think Orlando is playing the Thunder right now, one day after playing us. So we could see them get knocked down in the standings, hopefully. No, it's not.
Honest. That's not fun at all.
It's not. But I've seen a lot of people try and discredit this win streak, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, but who have they played? And it's like, yeah, I get it. We played Portland, and we played the Nets twice, and we played the Wizards twice, and sure. But the thing is that the fact that they are where they are in the standings right now, they're 1.5 games back from 5th place, 6th place. I think both they're 1.5 back. The main thing is that it's not like the NFL where you get like some teams have an easier schedule than other teams. It's like, you still in the NBA, you have to play everybody throughout the whole season. Yeah. And we started the season with a really tough schedule.
Absolutely. And that's
we won some of those.
Like, how are you going to discredit in professional sports? How are you going to discredit any win streak, especially a 10-game win streak? I don't care who you're playing. You're playing another professional team.
Out of 82 games, you won 10 in a row. That's a big deal, man. And 18 of your games, you won all in one big chunk. Like, and tomorrow night we've got Dallas again in Dallas, and I think we can beat them. We'll see. I mean, you're right. The streak will end at some point. We've got Dallas next, and then we've got the Rockets in Houston, Kevin Durant's Rockets.
Mm,
So like that one is going to be very tough, but who knows, man? Like they're playing on a string right now. They're playing great defense.
Kevin Durant is also one of those players that like he can come to teams and just completely change every bit of chemistry they have on this team. Like all of a sudden,
last night,
like, and you were completely correct in what you call them. They're Kevin Durant's Rockets right now. They absolutely are. Like he's commanding the court like a motherfucker.
And they've got a good young team, and like, but him coming out there, like, and it definitely brings them to a whole nother level.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because they were stacking draft picks for a while.
I was watching highlights of the Rockets this morning at work, and I was just like, God, this is fucking scary.
Yeah, I watched probably a whole quarter last night of the Rockets versus the Lakers, and which looked like a great game. I mean, KD versus LeBron and Doncic.
Speaking of which, man, I want to say something. So LeBron took a dive last night to grab a ball, and
everyone's acting like it's the most impressive thing ever.
Yes, because I get on social media today and I scroll past ESPN and it's like graphic image. And I'm like, what the fuck is this graphic image? They're like, look at the results of LeBron's dive. And it's like, all he did was get a little knee burn, like a little fucking rug burn. All his skin did was peel back a little bit. And you're acting like this motherfucker did something. You guys are acting like he got stabbed out there on the court. All he did was that's what you do, dude. That's what you do. All he did was play ball.
LeBron dick riders, dude. They're everywhere.
Once he fucking took a dive at a ball. For once he played like incredible defense. Like he played aggressively, and maybe that's what everyone's astounded by. Like LeBron actually put himself out there to get a little boo boo. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I mean seriously, and it's like, and he's always been like, he makes things like that more dramatic, and everyone's like, oh my god,
dude, this is the type of scrape that my 4-year-old twin daughters don't even ask for a Band-Aid for. Like he wasn't even.
No, and they get it every day, right?
He wasn't even bleeding, dude.
Yeah, and I saw like within just that one quarter I watched, I saw him do the cherry picking shit twice, where basically like his team's on offense, he's not the one taking the shot, so he goes ahead and heads to the other side of the floor. Or no, I'm sorry, he's on defense, and as soon as the shot goes up, he's already on the other side of the floor, so that someone can pass him, a full court pass to where he can get a fast break dunk. And it's like, wow, he's 41 and he gets all these fast break points. It's like, because he's already over there. When he's already over there. Yeah. It's like, why is he over there fucking playing defense?
Yeah. When you throw it at him. Yeah.
Because when they get an open shot because they're playing 4-on-5 over there because LeBron's camped out on the other side, like that doesn't look good.
It's
so every time that fucking happens.
You're essentially watching a screen pass happen in the fucking NBA. You're watching.
Yeah.
You're just watching the man go outside to where nobody's guarding him and catching the ball and fucking dunking it.
And it only happens if the team misses the shot. But if they make the shot, it's like, okay, well, you left your team to play 4-on-5. That's stupid. Yeah. And it's stat padding bullshit. But anyways, not that LeBron's done that his entire career, but that's what's happening like the last 2 years.
Speaking of stat padding, do you want to go into the 83-point game that Bam had?
Yeah, let's do it, and we'll get back into the Hawks, man.
Let's do it because it's absolute fucking horseshit.
Yeah, okay. So the last week when we were recording, Bam had the 83-point game. Now he is the second all-time scorer, single game scorer in NBA history, behind Wilt Chamberlain and ahead of Kobe Bryant.
The simple fact that he's above Kobe and anything fucking makes my skin boil, but it was the way that it went down. He had like
8 points the next night.
Yeah,
it's like Bam's not that dude, man. Bam's a good player, but like he is not that dude.
All he did was call fouls or get fouled the entire fucking night to make it happen. He went to the line
43 free throws.
I was about to say he went to the line over 40 times. Like he better score 80 points doing that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Kobe scored 81, and I think he took 17 free throws. If that tells you the difference, and the way that first of all,
your 80 points right there are from the free throws. Like if you go to the line, for 2 free throws 40 times, okay, there's 80 points right the fuck there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly. So whenever like they got up by like 30, they realized like, oh, Bam could break the record. He could break Kobe's record tonight. So then the Heat they're up by 30 and they're intentionally fouling just to make sure that after free throws, they can get the ball back to Bam rather than let the Wizards, just dribble out the clock and in the game. Like the game's, it's out of reach. They want to bring in their bench guys and have them come up and just kind of play garbage time, get through the game. But it's like, it was such bullshit the way that they did. It was so manufactured, and it's going to go down in the record books as he, has the second highest single game record. But like, yeah, to me, that was fucking Bush League. I didn't think it was like entertaining. Now him, I don't know. Maybe that's just me being an old man or something like that. But because that's what a lot of people are saying. They're like, oh, come on, man. Like you you can't appreciate him doing that. Like, no, not like that.
No, I can't.
No, I can't.
Not like that. Not like that.
Yeah.
I could appreciate it if he did it competitively. I could appreciate
Right.
if the fucking fouls that he got was him trying to take it to the hole and he was getting, aggressively pushed and shit. But no,
Yeah.
not like this.
Yeah, and
No.
the fact that like his team was intentionally fouling just so they could get the ball back and leave time on the clock, like that's dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, why? The game's over. It's like you're literally just playing for a record.
I didn't like it at all.
It's
And
fucking
honestly,
stupid.
I feel like there should be a fucking big old asterisk next to that 83 because I wouldn't have counted it.
In 20 years or in 10 years, like, they're not even gonna be talking about it. But who knows, man? Like we might see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander do it next.
The problem is what's going to happen is 10, 15, 20 years from now, kids who have never heard of Kobe Bryant before are going to think that Bam Adebayo is better than Kobe Bryant. That's the problem.
There's already young people who say like, oh, the Wilt Chamberlain record doesn't count because there were no TV cameras there. It's just him holding a piece of paper that says 100.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's like, but I'm pretty sure he did that. It was Wilt Chamberlain.
There's no camera footage of the fucking Egyptians building pyramids, but they're fucking there.
Yeah, but we don't know who really built them, Joey.
It was aliens. Let's be real.
It was aliens.
It was aliens.
But anyways, yeah. So now that we've gotten that footnote out of the way, back to the Hawks, man. They're playing on a string right now when it comes to defense. Like we have the highest defensive rating in the NBA since the All-Star break. They've lost one game since the All-Star break, so they're 11-1 since the All-Star break. During that All-Star break, Dyson Daniels has been absolutely insane. Very, very, very low turnovers. I don't know what it is right now on the streak, but I sent it to you the other night. It was like he had a very high assist count to like 2 turnovers or something crazy, or maybe 0 or something.
No, I think it was
Jalen Johnson, last night.
2.
It might have been 2. Yeah. So Jalen Johnson last night, like everyone's wondering, like, okay, can he step up when we need him? Like to, and play against a better team, play against bigger guys. Like Orlando's big. Orlando doesn't really have like a traditional point guard at all. It's like,
and
they
the thing is,
play
we have tall guys, but we don't have big guys,
No, but I will say, like last night we were completely healthy. I mean, you had every person on the team was available. And when that's the case, you can run 3 big rotations. You can run a Kongwu and Jalen and Mo Gay out there against a team like this. And then with your bench unit, you can have Risa Shea and Kuminga out there together. So it's like you don't really lose a lot of size throughout the game, and then Jock Landale as well. But there was, and I'm during this win streak, Quinn Snyder's rotations with this new team like seemed to be pretty good because there was a problem that we were talking about with like Kispert and Luke Kennard and V. Krejci like being out there together. And it was like the defense just died. Well, he found a new shitty rotation, and it's Jock Landale, Kispert, and CJ McCollum. It's like you can't have all 3 of those guys out there at once. You can't do it. And he did it last night. Granted, he only did it for a little bit in the first half. And in my opinion, man, like when everyone's healthy, Corey Kispert probably shouldn't really be playing.
No,
he should be riding the bench. If you got Kuminga available and you have everyone else available, like he just stays on the bench. I mean, I like his offense sometimes, but his defense is not very good. CJ, I can deal with his lack of defense because at least he puts in effort and his scoring is so valuable. But during the second half, he didn't play any of that bullshit, and all of a sudden we started running away with it. And seeing the final score, I think we won by like 12. Don't let that fool you. We were up by 30 in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of, and it was a little silly, like near the end of the game, it's like they started to get within like, under 20, and we get it back to 20. Nikhil had an amazing night last night, 41 points, career high. I think he hit 9 threes, which I think is like second most all time, like or maybe tied for most threes in a game for a Hawk.
Who's number 1? It would be Korver, right?
No, I'm not sure, man. I saw it last night during the game. They showed the graphic, but he didn't break the record. I think if he had gotten one more, he would have. But anyways,
Korver did that shit where he scored like 20 points in like 11 seconds or something crazy like that.
No, it was like 9. No, it was like 12 points in like 11 seconds. It was 4 threes in like 11 seconds or something. Yeah, that was against the Bucks. I remember that game. That was fucking wild. I was watching that live. And it was just like Korver was so good at just running around that screen. And if he could catch and shoot off a screen, he was going to hit it. And it was like the Bucks just couldn't keep up with him.
Part of me wants to say that Korver is underrated. And He was
I
beloved
think
in
he's pretty,
Atlanta. He
yeah,
was
but I
beloved
think he's pretty
in
well
Atlanta,
respected throughout the league.
and he is well respected. But I just don't like fucking Hawks Corver was just on another level. Like he just
Yeah.
had ice in his veins the entire
Oh,
time
yeah.
he was here. Like I didn't see that Corver in Chicago. I didn't see that Corver in Cleveland. I didn't see that Corver in fucking where was he before us?
Philadelphia was originally
Philadelphia.
where he was. Yeah.
Philadelphia. Dude, in all honesty, when we got Kyle Korver, I didn't know who the fuck he was. Like, who's this white dude? And then I looked him up. I was like, oh, he came from
Don't let the white
Philadelphia.
boys shoot.
But like, I never heard it. And then all of a sudden in Atlanta, he becomes like a household name. He becomes a conversation piece. Like all of a sudden he put the league on notice. Like fucking Atlanta Hawks Kyle Korver was on a different fucking level that I don't think he ever reached that level again in his career. And we were lucky to have that Kyle Korver here.
Did you hear the draft story about Kyle Korver? And in fact, I want to get these teams right. So let me just
I
check
vaguely
this out.
remember this draft story, and I think you actually talked about this draft story on This, That, and the Other, if I'm not mistaken.
I may have. Let's see. Because he got traded on draft night. Let's see here. I just want to get these teams right.
My buddy Josh Fletcher actually momentarily went to the same church as Kyle Korver and would see him every Sunday like it was nothing.
Nice. Okay, so all right, so he gets drafted by the New Jersey Nets. Okay, in the 2003 draft.
That is dating the draft. By the way.
Yeah, I know.
The
New Jersey Nets.
Oh my god.
New Jersey Jets draft Kyle Korver with the 51st pick. And they immediately traded his draft rights to the 76ers for $125,000 in cash considerations. The Nets used this money to fund their summer league team and famously purchased a new copy machine with the remaining funds. So they traded Kyle Korver for a copy machine.
For a copy machine, yeah.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, we got three assists, dude.
And whenever he went to the Sixers, that's back when Allen Iverson was playing for the Sixers.
Yeah.
So Korver, his rookie season, got to play with AI, which is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite Hawks all time. And there's a great podcast with him and Jeff Teague and Paul Millsap on Jeff Teague's show.
Yeah.
That they really get into like what that team was like, that 2015 Hawks team. Which this team, I'm not comparing them to them, but like the last time the Hawks won 10 games in a row. Last time the Hawks won 10 games in a row was that team.
Because it's funny you mentioned that because they are very reminiscent of that team. They are.
Yeah, spreading the ball around. I mean, we have more of like a bona fide like leader on this team, I guess. Like whereas that team, it could be anybody on any given night, like out of that starting five. Like it could be a Korver night, it could be a Millsap night. You know, I mean, even Teague had his moments. But with this team, it's you know, the way that they went out and basically changed the size of this team. We were talking earlier on in the season, especially when Porzingis like was never playing, that we were undersized all the time. Mm-hmm. We were always undersized. We end up getting rid of Trey, which, you know, and we have Nikhil step in as our starting point guard. And Nikhil is, I think, like 6'6", 6'7". And he's one of the smaller guys on the team, but he is an excellent defender. And when he's out there with Dyson Daniels, who's 6'8" or 6'9", and who's a great defender, it's like those two guys. If you get switched from if you somehow like get off of a switch like from Daniels and you got Nikhil on you, it's like, well, that's not much of a drop off, dude. Like you're still going to have trouble. And they did a really good job against the Magic last night against Paolo Banchero, where they did a really good job of keeping him out of his spots. So anytime he got the ball, it wasn't where he wanted it. It wasn't where he was comfortable. And like they were focused on that. They stuck to it. Banchero, I think, had 18 points, which when you can hold a star player for another team to that. Franz Wagner also didn't have a great night. We just came out with like real defensive energy, like from the beginning. And the Magic never really threatened us in this game. And to me, it's like that was a nice thing to see, especially with knowing the weak teams that we were playing like all in a row. It's like, well, the Magic was going to be the first like test, and it's a division rival. It's a team that's ahead of us in the standings, not by much, but they're in the spot that we want to be. They're in 5th place. We want that. So that's who you got to beat. And like you were saying earlier, like if they can get in, like they look like they could be a scary team depending on who you got to play. Now, if you go in as the 8th seed and you got to play Detroit, or you go in as the 7th seed and you got to play Boston, you're not that intimidating to those guys. But if you get in and you're playing against the Knicks, or you're playing against the Cavs, teams that, had a really good like early success and have been able to kind of sustain that around. But like, I'm not afraid of them if I'm the
Yeah.
Hawks. If the Hawks are healthy, hell no.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, we say that it's the NBA, anything can happen. But
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think there's any reason to go into almost any series for the rest of the season with any bit of intimidation, because I feel like this
Right.
team can stack up against almost anybody right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, to be honest, like the schedule is going to get a little bit harder here in the next 2 weeks. But when you win every game for 3 weeks, like you got to be riding high. You got to be
But I'll
feeling
tell
good.
you, Jeremy, at the same time, I want it to be harder because I want this team to prove me right. I want to know that my feelings about this team are validated, because I would rather know now than us inching into the playoffs and me being like, I fucking told you so. I don't want to have a I told you so moment. I don't want to sit here and be like, I told you we weren't going to the second round of the playoffs. I told you they weren't the caliber. Like, everything I said earlier is true. I am proud of this team, but like, I want to feel validated. I want everybody else to see why I'm proud. Like, yeah, because we can take this team on. Yeah, we can take on Houston. Like, yeah, we can do it. Like, yeah, we can win the series, or we can at least win one game out of the series. Like, we can do it. Like, I want to see it be validated. I want this team to put the rest of the league on notice. Like, hey, like, we're here to play. Like, hey, even if this year isn't our year, give us 2 more years. We got this shit. This is our shit. You know?
Right. Well, I think they're in that spot, and they've given themselves a lot of flexibility. We've talked about Kuminga's contract. He's got a team option next year. I say you pick it up.
And we also we
he's
might
23 years old.
We might want to consider paying CJ. Not to cut you off, but
I think I was about to get to that.
Consider that.
Yeah, I was about to get to that. I think CJ is worth a look at what kind of money he's going to want. This is the final year of his deal, and then everybody else. Yeah, right. Well, no, it's the last year of his deal that he signed with the Wizards. But looking at our schedule, man, like next week, it's gonna get tough. Let me find it real quick. But we have like Detroit next week. We've got Boston twice next week. Like this is when you're going to see them really get tested.
And Boston's a team that's really been giving us some trouble this year.
Yeah, but they beat our ass and then we beat their ass, and that's really all we've seen. So we've got 2 games left with them. So you get to play them 4 times. But this could tell you a lot about the team if they come out of next week with a positive record. And what we're looking at is so we have Mavericks next. Then the Rockets, that's Friday in Houston. Like I said, that would be a tough one. Then you got the Warriors here in Atlanta. We can win that one. We've got a better record than them. Steph may be coming back for that game, so that's kind of, to be determined. Grizzlies, bad. We can win that. Pistons in Detroit.
Grizzlies are really bad, dude.
They're really bad. So
really bad.
Pistons in Detroit, that's going to be tough. But if you can win that, you're going to get some national attention. Then you got Celtics in Boston. That's going to be tough. But we beat them in Boston already, so it's doable. Then the Kings at home. They suck. And then the Celtics here in Atlanta. Okay. And then the last 6 games of the season, you got the Magic again. We've already beaten them 3 times. So, if we were to somehow tie with the Magic here at the end of the season, we would take the higher seed.
Right.
So we're already in good shape there. But let's beat them one more time. It'll be in Orlando. Then you got the shitty Nets, who have given us a little bit of trouble for as bad as they are, but we still beat them decidedly. Then you got the Knicks at home. That'll be a nice test. Let's see where we're at. That's a national game. Then we got Cavaliers on a home and home. So we'll play in Cleveland, and then 2 days later play them again in Atlanta. And then we end the season with the Heat, who are ahead of us in the standings right now. That's one we got to take care of. So all of the ones that are in the East, especially the ones that are around the 5 to 10 range, we got to beat them. We can't let Charlotte catch up with us because they already own the tiebreaker on us. Although they're already over 3 games behind us. That, to me, I feel like they should be in the rear view for the rest of the season. They should be. Not saying they don't make the play-in or we don't see them in the play-in or anything. But if a month ago, if anyone was saying no, the Hawks they're going to make it out of the play-in, they're going to get to that, they could get to that 5 seed, you'd be like, you're fucking crazy. But then you win
but now
every game for 3 weeks. It's wow, okay, they're a game and a half out of that.
Yeah.
It's insanity, but that's how you get there, is you win all of those games. And the biggest thing about this streak is that Hawks are taking care of teams that they're supposed to take care of.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's the sign of a good team.
But that's also how you keep me as a fan. That's also how you win me over, because I'm telling you, Jeremy, there's something about like, even if a team that I cheer for ends up with a losing record, even if they were to miss the playoffs, even if I just saw the glimpses of like, okay, like they were really putting their heart out, okay, like they were good enough to beat that team, okay, they were just one game, like if I just keep seeing like the perseverance and the try hard of them, I'm happy with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. And this team, it's all about the future, man. If you get in and make some noise and you make players go, huh, like Atlanta actually seems pretty good. I
And
want to
that's
go
the
there while
thing
I'm a
too,
free
is like
agent.
Atlanta sports in general and Atlanta sports fans, like it's all built on Cinderella stories. We
Yeah.
never have the stacked, dynamic, fucking full-fledged roster of nothing but all-star names, blah blah blah.
Right.
Like everybody's a Hall of Famer.
You
We
don't,
never
yeah,
have
you
that
don't start
team.
the season like the
We never
Phillies
have
or
that team.
like the Eagles have in the past
Right.
or anything
We
like that.
never
Or the
that
Heat.
is never Atlanta. It never is.
Right.
We have one all-star, we have two all-stars, we have one Hall of Famer, we have, like the one guy who's like clearly the best on the team, but we never have the entire like stacked full picture. I feel
Right.
like the Hawks are trending towards getting there within the next couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, and we say it every week, man. If Dyson Daniels can start hitting some jump shots, man, like he's going to be up there. He's going to be an all-star next year if he can do that. And
I do mean to exclude the Braves out of that though, because there has been several times in history the Braves have had like the most stacked team in baseball. You only get 2 World Series out of it, but still.
Right. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that. So the Braves have had that, but not in a while. I mean, even the last World Series that we got, it was like it took us till we went and made all those trades, like at the trade deadline, to get like Jock Peterson and Eddie Rosario and all those people.
Was though, dude.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. No, it was an incredible team.
It was a team,
but that was a Cinderella.
But also, it was a team that could only happen once and only did happen once because all those people you just mentioned, we didn't keep them. They were gone literally the next season.
So. Yeah. Jorge Soler was gone. Peterson was gone. But in that scenario, we had lost Ronald Acuna for the season.
Yeah.
So it's like they had to do something to just plug in at the end of that season, but like they didn't think it was going to end up there. That they didn't.
Dude, it's insane that it did. Like it
could happen like that with the Hawks. Dude, who knows?
That season, that Braves World Series, our most recent one, that was clearly not supposed to happen. Like it wasn't.
But let's make a little bit of a parallel comparison here with them and these Hawks. Is like, we lost Trey Young. We traded him, but like the Braves lost Ronald Acuna, and it's like, all right, well, we got to plug in guys. And let's do it the smart way. Let's not go out and spend all of our fucking money. Let's not tie ourselves down to these long contracts and stuff. And they go out and get Soler and Rosario and Peterson, whereas we go out and get CJ McCollum and Kuminga. And all of a sudden the whole dynamic of the team has changed. Whereas like we looked fucking almost dead in the water a month ago. Yeah. The Braves that season looked like, I remember when Acuna went down, I was like, well, there goes this season, and it happened in like July or something. We already were kind of climbing uphill at the time. And then they get into the playoffs and all of a sudden they're the hottest team in the playoffs. That's another thing about this Hawks team is like, if they fight like hell and get up into that 5 or 6 seed, it's like, and continue to stay hot, that sometimes is a lot more valuable than these guys who might have home court advantage, but like they've been coasting for the last month.
I'll also tell you, Jeremy, going back to the Braves World Series, when we beat the Dodgers to move on, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that we were going to lose the World Series.
We had it.
I kind of feel like the parallel.
They were the boogeyman we had to get past.
Yeah, and I feel like there's certain boogeymen on the rest in the NBA right now that if we can beat, especially in the first round of the playoffs, there will be no doubt in my mind that we can move on. Because just like with the Braves,
if we got past Boston in the first round or something,
that's what I'm saying.
I would get crazy excited. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because like I'm telling you, I
hope we have a better seeding
Dodgers.
Than that,
the second the Braves beat the Dodgers in the playoffs, I was like, they're going to win the World Series. It's it. Yep. That's the only team they had to beat. That was the only thing.
We played them well for so many years in a row. Like
it was like 3 years in a row where the Dodgers kept us from the World Series.
It was actually 2 years in a row because we had that one 5-game series against the Cardinals where Mike Foltynewicz was pitching Game 5 and it just shit the bed in the first inning. But the year before that is when we played the Dodgers and Cunha hit that grand slam off of Walker Buehler.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember that, that was insane. And then the COVID season when we took them to Game 7, we were up 3-1, and they came back and beat us.
Yeah. And then there was a while where the Giants were the team that we couldn't get past.
Back the Buster Posey Giants.
Yeah, it was back in like 2010. It was like 2010, 2011. Like
Bobby Cox's final year.
We just could not get past the Giants, man. They were
stacked back then. They were stacked.
Of course they were stacked.
Yeah.
They had Brian Wilson. They had Tim Lincecum. They had fucking Buster Posey. They had
Hunter Pence.
Dude, they had everybody, dude. The Giants were the team back then, dude.
Well, let's transition over to some NFL talk, man. I got a little bit of Falcons to talk.
Well, speaking about baseball real quick.
Let's do baseball.
The World Baseball Classic. The World Baseball Classic final is happening as we speak. And as we are speaking, it is the bottom of the 6th. As you may know, it is the United States versus Venezuela for the World Baseball Classic Championship. And currently, Venezuela is beating the United States 2-0 with 4 hits. The United States only has 1 hit. Both teams have 0 errors, and there is currently 1 out in the bottom of the 6th with, I think it looks like USA is batting. Yep, USA is batting.
Okay.
So,
yeah, look, we've talked about this. We've talked about this in baseball. It's like the clock doesn't run out.
No,
as long as you can keep the runners moving.
The game goes as long as you can fucking play it. As long as you can keep runners on base, the game keeps going.
But I wanted to say something about the World Baseball Classic, just because Venezuela being in it and Ronald Acuna tearing it up. I've heard some people say like, man, no, he's going to get hurt there. I hate that we're risking that. Like, what if he gets hurt in the World Baseball Classic? It's like, sure, but what if he gets hurt in spring training? Like we've had many people do already.
And also, on top of that, you go and tell him not to represent Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. You go do that, big guy. You go ahead and go tell him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've got. I think the more positive thing is that the whole point of spring training is to get your guys warmed up and ready. So what if Venezuela wins this and Ronald Acuna, has a big moment tonight, and like he has so far, like in the whole Classic. And he comes into the season fucking hot for the Braves. Like he's playing games that matter right now to him.
Because this isn't spring training. This is competitive ball they're playing.
This is real competitive ball. Like people want to win, man. And I like that they're doing it during spring training, because it's like rather than them just go out and play games that don't matter, that nobody even sees on TV. Yeah, exactly. Like, and spring training is fucking too long, man.
It's a waste of fucking time. Dude.
But yeah, having them at the World Baseball Classic and actually this is a nice prep for the season.
I personally think spring training should last 3 weeks and then just go ahead and start the fucking season, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can have pitchers and catchers show up for 2 weeks, start the games, 3 weeks, we're done.
Yeah,
that's basically how NFL preseason is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you're not going to get any more warm than you are right now. And on top of that, you're worried about them. You're worried about Acuna risking injury. What about our fucking pitchers who are hanging on by a thread? You should speed up spring training, dude.
The ones that are left. Yeah, no shit, man. Yeah, it's like we've had so many injuries throughout this spring training, which is terrible. And I don't think that's spring training's fault. It's just like with the pitchers, man. Like whether it's fucking bone spurs or tore their ACL.
It's not spring training's fault. However, I would rather it happen in games that fucking matter than spring training. Yeah, I would rather I would rather it happen in something that goes towards our record than spring training.
Yeah, dude, and opening day is only like a week away, right? A little over a week away.
A little over
March
a week,
27th or something.
Yep.
We open the season against the Royals. I think that'll be interesting.
10 days, baby.
Nice. Yeah. No, I'm getting stoked, dude. Yeah, we're going to be switching over to baseball mode real quick.
I know. And the thing about me is like, even though I'm an Atlanta diehard, I'm not just an Atlanta Braves fan. I'm a baseball fan. So I will be coming at you from all angles about all types of baseball players, just like I was in the NFL. Like I love baseball. I love baseball more than I love football, if you can even believe that. So, and the thing is, there's a lot more baseball to talk about than there is football. So there's a lot of moving parts. You guys bear with us. But we will always, first and foremost, talk about our dirty birds. In fact, Jeremy's about to do that right now because there has been more light shed on this James Pierce situation, and there's more speculation for us to go over.
Yeah, let's start with that. Let's lead with that. So we all know James Pierce with the 5 felonies. Well, he's been formally charged now with 3 felonies and a misdemeanor, and they've dropped one of his felonies, and one of them has become a misdemeanor. There's a lot of people that are saying, one of them being D'Orlando Ledbetter, the legendary AJC Falcons beat writer, who's no longer with the AJC, but I saw him on a podcast this week, with Myles Garrett, not that Myles Garrett, different Myles Garrett, who's also a great sports guy. But anyways, was saying that he believes that James Pierce is probably going to get a 5 or 6 game suspension this year, man. What do you think about that?
I believe that James Pierce will never play the NFL again. That's wholeheartedly what I believe.
Well, I've heard some, my sources say.
Is this suspension going to be in lieu of his court date? Like, is this like the suspension is going to happen before his court date, and then like what happens at the court date when he gets fucking in a whole lot of trouble? You know what I'm saying?
Well, my sources say, and my sources are, guys that really follow this shit that come up to the bar all the time that I talk to. They were saying that one of them is a big Tennessee fan and said that like I think it means something that he was never arrested for any of these things before. So it's like,
okay,
even though there's record of like, hey, there were 911 calls about him and stuff, but like he was never arrested for any of this stuff before. So this is all like, first time offense. That's the way we're going to look at it. They're going to be like, well, he's a promising young man with a bright career ahead of him. And they'll give him some kind of slap on the wrist to where it's like, you do a couple days in jail a week and like you're still allowed to go to work, but you better show up to practice. You better be showing up. You're going to be on probation for a year or two. And then the league is going to say,
see that happen though? Like, is that something that you feel comfortable with happening? Like,
which side of are you, I look at it two different ways, man. It's like, yes, that is extremely shitty behavior. But the thing is like, and when you give someone a slap on the wrist like that, you're taking a big chance that he's not going to do it again because
I don't
what
know
if he takes it one step further? You know what I mean? What if he takes it one step further?
That's what I'm saying. But I mean,
not up to us.
At the same time, like, yes, he is a young man with a bright future. And I hope this isn't the character for the rest of his life. And I would love to see him on the team simply as a player, but as a person, like, I don't know if I trust that guy in my corner or anything, like, it's a weird situation,
Well, they were saying like at Tennessee, they knew about his toxic relationship with his girlfriend and they knew that this was a problem. And it was something that would come up every now and then, but it was never anything that became a huge deal. It's like it came a huge deal that one night in Florida last month. Yeah. And, you obviously don't ever want to see that happen again. Like not just for his sake, but like for any girl's sake that he's doing this shit to. Yeah.
Well,
but I don't know, man.
Sources are telling me. My sources are telling me I'm about to piss myself. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess we can see what happens. My thing is like I'm more worried about backlash other than anything else. And also it's what I'm talking about locker room culture and how it's going to go going into the next season. And I don't want it to turn into
who on his team is going to be like, what, we got to play with this piece of shit?
Well, maybe nobody, but at the same time, I don't want it to turn into a I told you so situation. Like we bring him back, everything's fine. He gets a little slap on the wrist, he gets probation or whatever, and then it happens again, and then we're fucked. Then we don't have James Pierce at all, and then we really got to plug holes,
True. So speaking of plugging holes, in the event that we don't have James Pierce Jr., which, is a very high possibility, I think, we just signed 2 new defensive ends, 2 new pass rushers, one of them being Azeez Ojulari, who some people may know from when he played at Georgia. But he was a second-round pick back in 2021. As a rookie, he had 8 sacks, which is a New York Giants rookie record, or at the time at least. I don't know if that's changed.
Hey, that's a good one. That's a good one to have. 8 sacks in the season is great.
Exactly. So, now he's going into like his 5th year in this 5th year in the league. So
do you know what his oh fuck, I'm sorry I always put you on spots of questions like this.
No, that's cool. What you got?
Do you know how many sacks he got since his rookie year? Like how he's been trending every season since then?
So over 4 seasons he's had 22 sacks. But he's also dealt with he's got 4 forced fumbles, 38 quarterback hits. He has had some injury. So, we're talking over 46 games over 4 seasons. I don't know. That's not full seasons,
You're telling me that like he's a pretty standard defensive end with flashes of brilliance.
Yep. And then, exactly. So, and then we got another one. This guy's a little bit older, but I really like this dude, Samson Ebukam, which, reminds me of Ebukati, but with who we lost. But this kind of helps replace more of that pass rush. This guy's 30 years old, and he's had 35 sacks in the NFL. A couple years ago, back in 2023, he had 9.5 sacks.
Great. And James Pierce
So
had what last year? 10.5?
10.5. So you want to try and replace that by committee. You're not going to have, it's very unlikely that we come away with just one guy that can bring us 10.5 sacks the way that James Pierce did. But if you have guys like that who can get you 5 sacks each, like, okay, well, that replaces that.
This is another part where Atlanta Falcons fans get spoiled, because I don't want any of you out there listening to think that 10.5 sacks is a standard to have for a season, because that's unheard of. It's remarkable.
Especially for a rookie. Yeah.
So when we have somebody come out and somebody potentially take his place and they only have 5 sacks, they only have 6 sacks, they only have 4 sacks, that's about league average, man. Like, fuck.
Yeah. And look, these two guys that I just named, like, they're not going to play every down. Like, like, I don't know, Ojulari's like, he may not even be a starter, like, so you got to think, it's like, as you're rotating in and out of guys, and like, these guys are going to place like Leonard Floyd and Arnold Ebiketie, basically. And then you're just going to have to, one of them might end up being a starter playing opposite side of Jalen Walker, who I think is going to be a bona fide starter next year. I'm really looking at Jalen Walker to be like, okay, can we use him more as that Caden Ellis type back? Because that's what he was at Georgia. He was more of like a linebacker who could get pressure. Whereas last year we had him lined up with James Pearson. He was just going to be an edge rusher. It's not exactly like his like forte, I guess.
Right.
He was good there when there was another guy that was pressuring on the other side. And I think that was something that like was disappointing about this James Pierce thing, is like, you were thinking that like, now that James Pierce is famous for getting 10.5 sacks, that like he's going to get a lot of attention, and that opens it up for Jalen Walker. So, but I am looking like, if we use Jalen Walker more in a Caden Ellis linebacker type position, I think he's going to have more success. Like, his build is kind of better for that. He's a very fast guy, and he plays bigger than he is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that like some of these things and changing things up, and our defensive staff who was here last year, I think they're going to know how to work this guy in and try and figure this out. And who knows, maybe you only miss James Pierce for 5 or 6 games while he's in jail, on fucking Tuesday and Wednesday every week.
I mean, we'll see, dude. I
have no idea, but like, again, this is the kind of shit they're talking about. When someone like D-Led says that he thinks 5 to 6 games suspension, that dude's been around the league for a long time.
But I also feel like this is one of those situations where like your opinion can't, like, you can't win either which way.
No,
you sway.
It's bad either way.
What I'm saying it's just it's bad. It's not good. And like I said, the saving grace in conversations right now is everything's a legend. Everything's a legend.
And dude, we're talking about the NFL here.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about the NFL. They're not the biggest.
About Arthur Blank
morals.
We're also talking about Arthur Blank, who's very iron fist. We're talking about the same guy who traded away Brett Favre because Brett Favre had a pill addiction, and instead of like,
Arthur Blank wasn't here when that happened.
Oh, it wasn't Arthur Blank?
No.
I was always told that it was Arthur Blank, and he fucking shit the bed with Brett Favre, so that saves it. But he also did.
It was the Falcons franchise. But
he also did not fucking welcome back, Michael Vick after he got out of prison.
Well, why would he? He had Matt Ryan at that time.
I'm just saying, like, you got to think of the way things go here in the NFL.
But he did
with
cut.
Arthur Blank.
He cut Michael Vick like pretty much immediately.
That's what I'm saying.
But with this, it's like it doesn't really serve the Falcons to. It doesn't serve the Falcons to cut him before anything like actually comes out in court. You know what I mean?
I don't know, dude.
It just doesn't.
I don't know.
It doesn't really help them.
I mean,
they may be able to get some kind of compensatory pick if he ends up going to jail and he can't play in the league like that.
It's good PR to cut him. That's the only thing I can say.
Good PR don't get you sacks, bro. How many sacks does good PR have last season?
0.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. Obviously, I don't condone anything that he did.
But to your credit, even though it wasn't Arthur Blank, it was the Atlanta Falcons organization that let Brett Favre go.
It was. It's also the Atlanta Falcons organization that drafted Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
But look, I will say about this Falcons offseason is they're going about it very mature. It's very adult. It's not sexy and flashy, but everything they're doing is like 1-year deals. Everybody's on like a prove it, try it out season. And then next year you can talk about spending money on them. Next year you have a lot more money. I do think that like this roster probably isn't as good talent-wise as last year's roster, at least the way it's sitting right now. And we still have the draft ahead of us, depending on how that goes. But I do think that with the competent coaching staff, you are still looking at like I am expecting more than 8 wins. I'm expecting 9, 10 wins next season. Like that's what I want to see. Like it'll be a nice improvement, and then you go from there. And you're not tied down with any bullshit contracts. Like the Tua contract is the biggest example of this. You know, you don't go out and spend. You'd spend 7 times more probably on Joe Flacco, who is probably better in some areas than Tua is. But Tua being as young as he is, and he's not that far removed from an 11-win season when healthy.
Right.
And, you know, an interesting thing that I wanted to bring up to you is that Tua wanting to be here, obviously he wanted to be here if he signed here for $1.3 million.
Yeah.
I think it's because the coaching staff said, look, we're going to let you compete to be a starter. And like, we're not hiring you as our backup. We're hiring you as one of the QBs. And he thinks in his mind, oh, I can beat Michael Penix for that job.
No. And see that's what's interesting to me, because I think he's thinking I can beat Michael Penix, but not only can I beat Michael Penix, I feel like he's planning on being in Atlanta for a while. I feel like he's planning on getting the starting spot and, you know, earning his keep and everything. But at the same time, like, let me ask you as a Falcons fan, is Tua the guy you want here next year? Is Tua the guy you want here 2 years from now? I guess it depends on what he does this
Ian
season.
Cunningham, I was about to say, I think Ian Cunningham and Matt Ryan and Kevin Stefanski are all saying, like, depends on what you do, man. Show me why we should have you here next year.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of guys that we just signed
and I think
that they're saying the exact same thing.
As a competitor, especially as a professional sports player, I think if you put their back against the wall and you say, hey, you got to earn this shit. This is because in all honesty, let's look at it. He just signed a deal for $1.3 million. If he doesn't do well here, this could be his last stop. So right. you're kind of
rich, but
he'll still be rich. But I'm just saying, like, you're kind of fighting for your lunch here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, because you're right. Like even if it doesn't work out with the Falcons and he has a good season, he'll be a free agent again, and he'll be able to go and leverage us to another team for more money, or vice versa. You know what I mean? He could do a Sam Darnold. He could do a Geno Smith. You know, Geno Smith, you know, went to Seattle and like revived his career, and all of a sudden he looked like a bigger player. And then he got a nice contract with the Raiders. It didn't go so well for him with the Raiders, but Sam Darnold did that, got a bunch of money from Seattle, and went and won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So Tua's got to be thinking that, you know? And who knows? I mean,
hopefully that's where his head is. That's where I would like for his head to be.
Well, who knows, man? He's been so many concussions.
I don't know what goes on in his head right now. You know, throwing up. I can't do that. I can't do that. Yeah. I can't do that. That's wrong.
That's terrible.
I apologize.
That's not funny.
I apologize for that.
It's not funny. Why are you laughing?
We are getting towards the end of this episode, and I told Jeremy when we started recording I was going to do something fun that was going to be sprung on him that I didn't want to announce to him. So I feel like we're at a point in the season, in our season of ATOWN Rundown, where things are kind of slowing down. Things are getting to the point where they haven't quite ramped up yet. The only thing really going is the NBA, and everything else is kind of speculation, kind of training. Got spring training going on. Everything that's going to happen with the Falcons is either, you know, free agent signings, haven't even started training yet, haven't even started practicing yet. So I wanted to do something, and I wanted to take the time for you guys, for you listeners, to get to know Jeremy a little bit better. And I'm going to do something that he can have the honor of doing to me next week, because it's putting him on the spot a little bit. Sure. But I'm going to ask you some things about you, some kind of rapid fire questions, some kind of off the cuff questions. All of this is purely unfucking scripted, purely unrehearsed. So and it's going to be kind of silly, but let me ask you, let me start with this. So like, I've always wanted to know, you're in a band, you're a musician. Sometimes you go on tours, you play other cities. There's got to be times you stop. What is your go-to gas station food, your gas station snacks, and what is your go-to fast food spot and your order from that place?
Is this on the road?
On the road, not in your everyday life, but strictly on the road when you're on a budget, living off of t-shirt money.
Sure. On the road. Okay. Gas station food. if we're at Quick Trip, man, I gotta get me 2 Quick Trip corn dogs, baby.
Oh, dude,
2
all
Quick Trip
day.
corn
Dude,
dogs.
those little rolled up corn dogs are the
Oh yeah,
fucking
roller
shit,
food, baby.
dog.
Oh yeah. So I'll get some of those. I'll typically get some buffalo wing pretzels. That's
Mm,
always a good snack to have on the
makes sense.
van. Try and stay away from the candy and shit. Especially like when you're on the road, like you're always eating shitty food. Uh, Fast food wise, the guys in my band are pretty fucking bougie. We will either get we'll go Chick-fil-A like at least once or
Whoa, you
twice.
guys got Chick-fil-A money?
Yeah, we got Chick-fil-A money, baby.
Whoa.
And when I go to Chick-fil-A, man, I always I keep it simple,
Just a
man.
number
Give me
one,
a number
straight up.
one. Give me a number
Yeah,
one.
number one, baby.
Half unseat tea, half lemonade, half diet lemonade. Try to keep the sugar down. And then the other one is we hit Wendy's quite a lot. And when I go to Wendy's, man, once again, I keep it simple, baby.
Four
Give
for
me a
four.
Dave's double. Give me a Dave's double all the way. And that's it, man. That's
All right.
my on the road. That's what we. And then a lot of times we're playing at venues that have food, so it's like, I'll get something not too heavy. A lot of times I like to get like just chicken wings. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like if you eat like a big ass burger and fries, and you go get on stage, and you're headbanging and shit, and you just feel full as fuck. Like it's not good.
Now, let me ask you this. Now, this is going to be a question that might be a little bit of thinker for you, but given our time period that we grew up in the 90s, we saw an incredible array of Atlanta sports teams. Who do you think, if you could boil it down to one athlete in your lifetime who was the most influential on you, like who you were the biggest fan of, who you adored the most, like in your lifetime, who was your favorite Atlanta sports player?
Man, that's a really tough one, dude. First guy that comes to mind is Roddy White. I always loved him, dude.
Okay.
I loved him. I felt like he had the Atlanta attitude. He was a beast on the field. He was a little bit of a shit talker, but could back it up. And then Chipper Jones, man, Southern guy who just kind of has like always something kind of witty to say. And also, even like as an old guy on the team, like was smashing them and was a star to watch, even in his last couple seasons with the Braves. So I'd say those two guys.
Dude, his last season was so fucking exciting. I remember going to his last
I feel
game.
like every game that we would be at, like me and my friends would be like, Chipper's going to hit one for us. Like whether we were winning or losing or whatever. And it's like a lot of times, like
Chipper also had that swing that like when it was a home run, it just sounded different and you could hear it. Like as soon as he hit it, you're like, that's a home run.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Yep. Yeah. So
now
those are definitely my two guys.
This is going to be the hardest question I ask you of the night. So everyone who listens knows you play in a metal band, you play in Sunmancer. Obviously you have a big, metal influence, musical influence.
Yep.
If you could boil it down to like 5 albums that you could really say like fucking influence your style musically, they don't have to be metal albums, just like 5 albums you remember being like, okay, this is what no, like this is what got me into music. This is what made me want to play music, even if it was like fucking Limp Bizkit back in the day, just something that you heard and you were like, okay, I know that this is what I want to do because I want to do what they're doing.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot of it's going to be metal, man, because when I started playing guitar, it was like when I really got into metal. Obviously, like I grew up with, like I loved Nirvana when I was a kid. I loved the Nevermind album. I was big in into Black Sabbath pretty early. My dad had the Master Reality vinyl, and
I have Master Reality on vinyl. So
nice, that's a great
original press too.
I used to listen to that one like on the big headphones, like cans, like from the vinyl when I was a kid. So I'll put Master Reality on there. The first CD that I ever got that was like guitar based. I mean, actually, I think the first CD I ever got was Will Smith Big Willie Style. If you remember that.
Wow, okay,
getting jiggy with it. But that was before I was playing guitar and shit. But like the first like guitar album I got, I was like 6 years old maybe. Was Metallica Master Puppets. So put that one on there. Nice. That's 2. And then one that's not quite metal. I really liked the Beatles' White Album as a kid, because that was kind of like one of their weirder ones. And my parents were like big Beatles fans. My sister was a big Beatles fan.
Really good. Like I do not like the Beatles, but White Album is actually really fucking good.
I really like that one. I mean, like I love the Beatles, but I don't like. I don't cheerlead for their little teeny bopper, I want to hold your hand and shit like that. Let's see what else. Pantera Vulgar Display of Power for
Yeah,
sure
I
on
knew it
there.
was coming.
Yeah,
Knew it
yeah.
was
I mean, if
coming.
you see my guitars back here, like I'm a huge Dimebag Darrell fan. That was like my biggest influence, like for guitar. And then let me do Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake. That's the first one
Oh,
that like
fuck.
got me into like the metal that I listen to now, like the
Hell
more
yeah.
like extreme side of shit. So that
Those
was
are all
plus that was all like
solid choices, dude.
no actually I got an honorable mention, dude. And this one like in fact, yeah, this one should be on the list. System of a Down Toxicity.
Oh, dude. I had Toxicity in the 6th grade. I listened to it until it
Yeah,
broke.
I got it in 5th grade, and I always thought with that album that it was like influenced by like what happened on 9/11 because like that their sound and a lot of their stuff was like Middle Eastern and stuff, and
Mhm.
had to do with like dropping bombs and stuff, and like you thinking like the war in Afghanistan, which turned into like the war in Iraq. That's not true. On 9/11, 2001, the number one Billboard album was System of a Down Toxicity. It was already number one when that happened.
Mhm.
So those guys just, I don't know. When I listen to that record, it puts me right back, going on a field trip with my portable CD player. Says no skip, but every time the bus hits a bump, it
Yeah.
skips.
There was
You
no
know,
such thing as no skip.
yeah. So I listen to the hell out of that. So
All right,
there you
and
go. Give me 6 albums.
the last question I have right now, because we're gonna do more of this because this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, we should. These are fun.
What was the first beer you drank and where, and
Okay.
how old were you?
Okay. It was a Bud Select, and it was warm
Oh
as
my
hell.
god, Blood Select doesn't even fucking exist anymore.
I know, dude. I was probably
Oh my god.
12 or 13, and I was at my buddy Jeremy's house. He lived a couple houses down from me. He was a couple years older than me, but he was like, so if I was like 12 or 13, he was like 15 or 16, and so he was like already smoking cigarettes and stuff, and always we loved Stone Cold like back in the day, so like I always thought beer drinking was cool.
It is cool.
And it is cool. It is cool. Don't try it, kids. But anyways, yeah, and he like had snuck a couple like Bud Selects or something, and in the bottle, of course. And I remember when I drank it, I was trying to look cool. I'm like, yeah, no, this is good. And it's like I took like 2 sips out of it, and like 2 hours go by, and I didn't drink anymore. And like eventually, he's like, "Yo, you gonna finish your beer? I'm gonna go get another one." And I'm like, "Yeah." And it's like so I try and chug like what now is a hot Bud Select. And for someone who has no taste for beer yet, it was fucking challenging, man. But
That's something that kids don't realize is like your first beer is gonna taste awful.
it's
It doesn't
terrible.
matter what beer, it doesn't matter what beer it is, anything. Your first beer I remember my first beer, it tasted like absolute dog shit. But now beer is like one of the most refreshing things in the world.
Oh, it's the best, dude.
You
It's the
have
best. I
to
love
it's an old cliche that like they'll tell you, but like you have to develop it is an acquired taste because your first beer is gonna taste fucking awful.
Dude, I'll even drink the non-alcoholic beers. Like Sierra Nevada has those Trail Pass non-alcoholic IPAs and stuff. Like they have like a hazy IPA, and it's like you drink that, it's like, damn, this is still fucking refreshing as hell. Now, the way you do it is that you have a couple regular beers, then you have a non-alcoholic to kind of slow you down, like slow down like the getting sloppiness. You have 2 of those, and then you have 2 more regular beers.
I had a few
about longevity.
friends. I had a few friends in my early 20s who they didn't drink, and one of them was recovering, and more power to him. But they would still come to parties, and they would always have like a 12-pack of O'Doul's or a 12-pack of St. Pauli or something like that. And it was eventually explained to me that like after a while, when everybody's been drinking, they're not looking at what you're drinking. They just see a beer in your hand, and that way you can still just continue to be a part of the conversation to where it's not like why aren't you drinking? Why are you doing this? Like you're still here, you're still having a beer. My beer just doesn't get me drunk, but like it's a camaraderie thing. Like I'm having a beer with you, and I would rather your drunk ass not be like, why are you drinking a water? Why are you drinking a Dr. Pepper?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like
Come on,
I'm having
man,
a beer with
us.
you. Yeah, like I'm having a beer with you. I'm just having my beer with you,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and that's the best way to do it, man. I've had some times like working at the bar where it's like have a couple beers during my shift, and it's like if there's a couple non-alcoholics in the fridge, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to drink those here at the end of the night, so I can sober up and fucking get home. You know what I mean? And nobody ever even notices.
Yeah,
you pour it in a glass. It's
that's
like
the
you
weird
drink
thing
beer
is
with
like
everybody
it
else.
gets to the point where like you do enjoy the taste of beer. Like I've
Yeah.
had long days after cutting the grass and everything, and it's just like I just want a beer. Like I don't want to sit here and get drunk. I just want a beer. Like
Sure.
it's
Yeah, just
refreshing.
one
It
beer
tastes
at
good. I
3 p.m. after
want
you
a
just got
beer.
done sweating your ass off. Yeah, no, man. I know that feeling. Hell, you're making me thirsty right now. Fine Pilsner beer.
But yeah, you know, we love beer. We love Miller Lite. Miller Lite's our favorite beer. Give us money, you know. But other than that, guys,
still waiting on it.
We are ATOWN Rundown. We always have been, always will be. You can find us on YouTube at ATOWN Rundown. You can listen to Jeremy's band at Sunmancer on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. Fucking are you guys on that what's the other one? What's on Tidal? You guys on Tidal?
I'm not sure if we're on Tidal. I don't know if that's like a separate thing, but I mean, I feel like we should be.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got good distribution.
And you didn't hear it here, but he was recording guitars today, so they might be releasing some new music
tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, you guys have fun. Take care of yourself. You know, get ready for some baseball. Get ready to learn more about us. We're gonna do some more fun shit on here. But yeah, be safe. Have fun. See you guys next week.
Go.